Welcome to today's lesson on elapsed time using 1-minute intervals. Today we're going to be practicing elapsed time using a number line as well as a T-chart. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and begin today by using the number line below to find the elapsed time from 12:37 until 1:51. So we're going to start by writing our start time on our number line. And our start time is 12:37. Now we're going to write our end time, which is 1:51. Now that we have our number line set up, we're going to go ahead and start by writing 1-hour intervals. So from 12:37 to 1:37, we have one complete hour. And I'm going to make sure that I write down 1:37 so that I don't get confused later. And I'm going to mark 1 hour, making sure I use my units so that I don't get my minutes and hours confused. Now, if I were to move one more complete hour, that would get me to 2:37. But that's past our end time, so now I'm going to start working in smaller increments. Now I'm going to move in 10-minute increments from 1:37 to 1:47. And I'm going to mark down 1:47 so that I know where I stand. And I'm going to put 10 minutes down so that I'm recording my units appropriately. Now, if I were to move another 10 minutes, that would get me to 1:57, and that's past my end time. So now I'm going to break down my units even further. I can't move 5 minutes because that will be past my end time, so now I'm going to move in 1-minute intervals. 1:47, 1:48, 1:49, 1:50, 1:51. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4 1-minute intervals that I moved. And now I'm at my end time. So my last step is to add my hours and minutes together. I only have 1 hour, and my minutes are going to be 10 minutes plus 4 minutes, which is 14 minutes. And that's all you have to do. You add your hours and your minutes together, and you're done. From 12:37 to 1:51 is 1 hour and 14 minutes. Another way that you can find elapsed time is by using a T-chart. We're going to use this T-chart to find out how much time passes between 5:04 and 6:11. So I'm going to start by putting my start time in the box. I have 5:04 in my T-chart. Now, just like with the number line, I'm going to start with 1-hour intervals. So from 5:04 to 6:04, we have 1 full hour of time. But if I were to move 1 more full hour, that would get me to 7:04. So now I need to start moving in minute intervals. If I were to move 10 minutes from 6:04 to 6:14, I would be past my end time. So now I'm going to move in 5-minute intervals. From 6:04 to 6:09, 5 minutes pass. If I were to move 5 more minutes, I would be past my end time. So now I'm going to move into 1-minute intervals. From 6:09 to 6:10, we have 1 minute. From 6:10 to 6:11, which is our end time, we have 1 more minute. And now all I have to do is add these together. I start with 1 hour, again making sure that I write down my units so I don't get confused, and then I add up my minutes. 5, 6, 7. 7 minutes. So now using this T-chart, I was able to find that 1 hour and 7 minutes pass between 5:04 and 6:11. Let's go ahead and practice this word problem together using a number line. Neha left for her walk at 11:43 a.m. She returned from her walk at 2:12 p.m. How long was Neha's walk? Well, first we want to start by putting in our number line our start time and our end time. So we're going to start at 11:43 a.m. and I'm going to write 2:12 as my end time. So now I'm ready to start marking down my 1-hour intervals. From 11:43 to 12:43, we have 1 hour. And I'm going to make sure that I'm writing down my times so that I don't get confused. From 12:43 to 1:43, I have 1 more complete hour. Now, if I were to move one more hour, that would put me at 2:43, which is past our end time. So that means I'm ready to start 10-minute intervals. 1:43 to 1:53, 1:53 to 2:03. If I were to move another 10-minute interval, that would get me at 2:13, which is past my end time. So I'm going to write down 2:03, and I'm going to mark down 2 10-minute intervals. Now I'm ready to move in 5-minute intervals. From 2:03 to 2:08 is 5 minutes. If we were to move another 5-minute interval, we would be past our end time. So now we're ready to move into 1-minute intervals. We have 2:08, 2:09, 2:10, 2:11, 2:12. So that is 4 1-minute intervals. And now we're ready to add up all of our hours and minutes together. So we have 1 hour plus 1 hour, which is 2 hours. And then we have 10, 20, 25, 29 minutes. So that means the elapsed time from 11:43 a.m. to 2:12 p.m. is 2 hours and 29 minutes. Let's walk through another word problem together. This time we're going to practice with the Tchart. Alex read his book from 10:49 to 12 o'clock. How long was Axel reading? Well, we're going to start by filling in our start time, 10:49. Now 1 hour after 10:49 is 11:49. If we were to move 1 hour past 11:49, we would be past our end time. So now we're ready to move in 10-minute increments. From 11:49 to 11:59 is 10 minutes. So I'm going to record 11:59. If I were to move in another 10-minute or 5-minute increment, I'd be past my end time. Because lastly, I just have to move 1 minute to get from 11:59 to my end time, which is 12 o'clock. So now my last step is to add these together. I have 1 hour and 10 plus 1, which is 11 minutes. So that means that Axel was reading for 1 hour and 11 minutes. Let's go ahead and practice what we learned today using the T-chart and the number line below. We're going to find the amount of elapsed time from 8:59 to 11:01. So I'm going to start with my T-chart, writing my start time 8:59, and I'm going to add 1 hour to get me to 9:59. After 1 more hour, that gets me to 10:59, but I can no longer move in 1 hour intervals to get past my end time. Even if I move in 10 or 5-minute intervals, that's going to put me past my end time. So now I'm ready to move in 1-minute intervals. From 10:59 to 11 o'clock is 1 minute. And then from 11 o'clock to 11:01, which is my end time, is 1 more minute. So now I just have to add these together. I have 2 hours and 2 minutes. Let's go ahead and check our work using the number line below. We're going to make sure that we put our start time, which is 8:59, and then we need to record our end time, which is 11:01. Now we're going to start by moving in 1 hour intervals. From 8:59 to 9:59, we have 1 hour. From 9:59 to 10:59, we have 1 more hour. So again, I need to make sure that I write down my units as we use our number line so that I don't get confused with minutes and hours. Now I'm ready to move into 1-minute intervals because, again, 5 and 10-minute intervals will put us past our end time. From 10:59 to 11 o'clock is 1 minute, and then 11 o'clock to 11:01 is 1 more minute. So that's 2 minutes in all. And when we add these together, we have 2 hours, as you had above, and 2 minutes, which matches the amount of elapsed time that we used when we found the T-chart.